one thing I tell my students is you're going there for global exposure, right?
Yeah.
And there are some people who want to stick with Indians or stick to their own
Comfort
crowd.
level, yeah.
Stay out of your comfort zone. And frankly, selecting the right course is more important than the university because ranking wise बहुत ज़्यादा difference नहीं है.
So that's why I
So,
wanted like after some time, after I work more and after I get actually a good GMAT score, then I'll apply to all the IVs and all the top schools. Like I'll be eligible at least to apply. I would not require that GMAT waiver, which
Right.
would not be a restraint.
Okay. So what I was saying was, in spite of the fact that you might go to UCL or Kings, networking is very important, right? And since you're a fresher, one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that you will have people who might have worked for like 4 or 5 years. So you will meet people जो आपको शुरू में लगेगा have better skills than you know.
More experience.
Exactly. And study abroad, students are so excited to go there, so they forget कि their sense is not just reaching. The
Yeah.
sense is once you are there, right? So you have to compete with a very, very healthy competition though, but you have to compete with very good minds, very bright brains, right?
Yeah.
So being a fresher, most of my students who were freshers told me this, थोड़ा सा डर लगता है that are we able, will we be able to compete or not, right?
Yeah.
So one thing is it needs to happen from now, right? Networking सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. You should never fear, that I have to talk to somebody who's coming with 6 years of experience. Don't think about that. You will all be on a similar ground level, right? But हाँ, उन लोगों से बात करने के लिए you will need something, right? You will need a common
Something of
ground.
my own, yeah.
Exactly. And mostly people think, can we be that smart that we can talk to somebody who comes from BCG after working for
Right.
5 years? But it's all about that exposure that you can have in this time. Read about things, right? Read about Kings. If we decide to go to Kings, we'll discuss that. Read about UCL if we decide to go there. Student groups are very important because it gives you that common ground, right?
Right.
To come on the same page and solve something.
Right.
Be very participative. Don't deter from talking to anybody, right? Doesn't matter how young, old the person is, right? One thing I tell my students is you're going there for global exposure, right? And there are some people who want to stick with Indians or stick to their own
Comfort
crowd.
level, yeah.
Stay out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
No point staying within your comfort zone. That's what the investment is
Yeah.
about. Okay? So LinkedIn is a very good way to start doing that because what I tell my students is that before you even go, right, everybody starts updating their LinkedIn, right? The incoming student, right? And they also put the duration or the year when they're starting, right? So if
Right.
not this early, but the moment they go, they will all update it on the LinkedIn, and that is the place then you can connect with people. If not face to face, start building those connects virtually. One time there was a student I told him कि LinkedIn पे अपना post करो, right? And reach out to a few people who have done similar kind of posts, who've tagged that they are now studying at LSE and they've started to study this year. Although आपका university आपको WhatsApp पे connect करता है.
Yeah.
Did you get into any of the WhatsApp groups from UCL or Kings अभी तक?
UCL ones, right? Yeah. Two,
Okay.
three UCL ones, mostly dominated by Indians. But yeah, I am in 2, 3 WhatsApp groups.
Okay. So stay very active on these WhatsApp groups, right? But क्या करना जब LinkedIn पे when it's close to your course start date,
Yeah.
right? Reach out to those people. It will become easily manageable. आप जल्दी ढूंढ पाओगे लोगों को. But connect and plan your meets. That's what I did for that student.
Should I also reach out to like alumni, like in the beginning only, or should I do that like when I'm starting the job search and all? Because the course is only 1 year course. So I'll have to start like job searching, hunting and all as soon as I get there, as soon as I
दोनों का ना देखो purpose is very different, right?
Okay.
The first part is that it will make you very comfortable. So what I did for the student is we reached out to a lot of people who were incoming students at LSE, right? And we asked them that on this and this date, so and so place, let's meet, right? And there were 11 students, right, who came together, and eventually 5 of them turned out to be in the same class, right? तो आपने पहले ही connect कर लिया, and that makes you more comfortable. Right. तो ये एक चीज आप कर सकते हो, but I think it starts with updating your LinkedIn, right? I mean, you need to update it, and eventually, as we say, projection is very important, right? So academics, I know you will cover very brilliantly. You're a smart person, but the projection of everything, I want you to be the smartest woman in that class. Okay.
Perfect.
Rest talking about our two schools, right? So हमारा Kings का जो offer है, that is for exactly which course?
MSc Finance Corporate.
Right, right, this one, right?
Yeah.
And from UCL we have a management,
Yes.
business management. Okay. So I think जो एक चीज हमने बहुत शुरू से डिस्कस की है हमेशा, that is that should we go for something that is niche into finance
Yeah.
or select management, right?
Right.
So if I have to ask you, right, what I know as of now from our past offers,
Yeah.
so हर ऑफर पे हमने यही डिस्कस किया है कि
Right.
ये कोर्स करना है नहीं करना है. Now from that standpoint, you had mentioned कि finance अभी बहुत niche हो जाएगा since I'm just starting my career, right?
Right.
So are we still onto that या फिर finance आप consider कर रहे हो? Why are you considering finance at King's and not the other universities?
When I looked at King's course, the finance, like it was not that, it was made for like freshers and it was not that quant heavy. Like a previous university, when I looked at the modules, they were mostly like coding or
Okay.
mathematics.
Okay.
In King's, it's mostly theoretical based, and theory I can do because right now also in my current like undergraduate degree, mostly 90% what I did was theory.
Okay.
So I am willing to do finance as long as it's mostly theory based, like mostly tech and not like coding or like programming or like
Right.
heavy quant.
ठीक है.
Yeah.
So let's see the structure, right?
Yeah.
So आपके जो fixed modules हैं, that's corporate finance, investment management, financial analysis and valuation, quantitative methods, and there is a
Yeah.
dissertation also.
Hmm.
And optional में you're required to take 60 credits, right? So that means यहाँ पे 15 हैं, आपको 4
Okay.
करने पड़ेंगे, right? So options analysis and valuation, corporate governance and accountability, financial management, financial reporting, corporate strategic discussions. Okay. Behavioral finance is very interesting.
Yeah. And like some of these I've done at undergraduate level as well. Like
Okay.
options I've done, behavioral finance I've done,
Mhm.
like account management, financial management I've done a little.
Hmm.
So I'm not doing blindside. I'm not going to be blindsided by these
Hmm.
theories, so which will help.
देखो फाइनेंस का एडवांटेज है कि आपने पढ़ा हुआ है and it will be easier to cope up. Frankly, in a MIM program, it's
Yeah.
again easier because the subjects are not that tough, right? But point ये है कि हमने बोला हमें फाइनेंस में नीश में जाना है शुरू में या नहीं. That is why we said कि
Yeah.
we want to select a generic program,
Right.
right? So is it also that it's the King's brand name that you're tilting to King's?
Yeah, the brand name and the like prime location in like central London, like there's so many networking events and like there's actually like so many industry exposure that I can get in that location. That's the thing. And even in this course, there's like a financial pathway. Like there's two pathways, financial and corporate.
Right.
I'm leading towards like financial pathway
Okay.
because like the courses again, like I said, it is finance based, but
Finance
it's not
based,
too like quantitative that I need to come from an engineering background or a mathematics or statistics background because like in some finance degrees I'll have to like compete with people coming from like core math background, which I fear because I don't like math that much. I can do math but I do not enjoy doing math. So I wanted to compete with people who are doing mostly theory, which I'm good at. I like doing like there's like graphs and theorems and all that I'm good at. So I'm trying to go into a program which is going to complement that.
ठीक है. Although UCL also I saw this, right? So the finance pathways for people जिनका background है finance में, which perfectly caters to you,
Yeah.
right? The corporate pathway is something which is for people who want to starting about business, finance, management, but finance नहीं आता उनको, right? एक बार इस पे चलते हैं. So these are our compulsory modules, right? So you can see there's a drastic difference when you see this and King's ka finance
Right.
program, right? So if I have to talk about the nature of course, definitely वो ज़्यादा quantitative है, right? This is not quantitative at all, right? Although within universities जो difference है MSc finance हाँ King's का इतना ज़्यादा quantitative नहीं है because it's corporate finance,
Yeah.
right? So you shall be, I think, comfortable with it. Optional modules में एक बार देख लेते हैं. So these are the optional modules that you have, and frankly, you have a lot that you can select from, right? See, I have some 5, 6 students who are, in the same dilemma, UCL
Mm-hmm.
versus Kings, right? And it is different. Like I said, सब students का एक अलग perspective होता है. There are
Mm-hmm.
students who earlier were like, Kings is my target, right? But
Right.
study abroad process में their brain has matured so much with the entire information that
Right.
now they know the value of selecting the right course. And frankly, selecting the right course is more important than the university because ranking wise बहुत ज़्यादा difference नहीं है,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Mostly students who are selecting UCL are selecting UCL because of the course, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have this student Yuvraj. He's going into UCL just because he doesn't want to study the program at King's, right?
Right.
तो अगर मैं एक open perspective से बोलूँ around the course, frankly, I like the UCL course better for you.
Right.
If you had come with 1, 2 years of experience in finance, I would have
Right.
said do that.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that keeps you versatile
Right.
because you have so much to select from and you don't have to go into super niche because आप super niche में हमेशा जा सकते हो, right?
Right.
And also one fact that I know about you because you know you will do an MBA,
Yeah.
right? ये आपका
Definitely.
fixed है.
Of course. Yeah.
So in that manner, I think you should do an MBA into finance later if you want to specialize. But we studied finance doesn't mean that that is the only thing for us, right? You've been always very creative and you've experimented, right?
Right.
यहाँ पे finance का track है. It's a pathway, finance pathway which you can take, which keeps you closer to your domain, right?
Right.
So from a course perspective, I'm very clear UCL should be the choice, right?
Right.
Now the only thing is the ranking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although ranking यहाँ पे comparable बहुत ज़्यादा क्यों नहीं है because उसकी ranking management में बोल रहे हैं हम UCL की
Yeah.
and we're talking about the finance program at ACL,
Things. Yeah.
right? So what does your heart say? You want to go to King's UCL?
Like I also researched a lot and like because management like the
Hmm.
business schools is new at both like
Hmm.
KCL is known for the law
Law.
and King's and like
UCL.
UCL is known for STEM programs
Hmm.
and like I tried and management and finance where everybody
Hmm.
is saying ki both are good and like both will get you like good jobs. It
Yeah.
depends on you only how much you network, how much you get into it. So
Right.
that is why. Also, at the program, like you said, I think UCL is better the program because of the
Program is better
options.
at UCL.
Yeah.
Especially because of the same factor. Had it been, you come with experience into finance, I would have said take that niche and there's nothing better. But I want to keep it more open for you because you've just entered,
Right.
right, the
Yeah.
business world, and I think आगे चल के और चीजें समझ ही आएंगी, right?
Yeah.
So I like the UCL program much better than King's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although yes, when you hear both the names, right, students are more driven, or at least everybody imagines that you'll be more driven towards King's. But I think from your career path, I think UCL course is much better, right?
Right.
फी भी दोनों का comparable है, right? King's is 37,680, right? And UCL is 38,300, right?
Yeah.
So fee is not something that you can differentiate
Yeah.
upon.
The class size is much bigger at UCL.
Class size is much bigger at UCL, which again, um, advantage and disadvantage standpoint. See, when you go to King's and you have a lesser, smaller class size, so you know best of the best is there, right?
Right. Yeah.
UCL में class size थोड़ा बड़ा है, but it gives you more exposure because you meet more people, right?
Right.
One thing that I would tell you from again the fresher perspective is that UCL का जो class average age है वो थोड़ा फिर भी young है. KCL का class average age is very high.
Right.
So you have lesser students and mostly students who come with like 4 or 5 years of experience.
Right.
So आपको academics पे बहुत ध्यान देना है वैसे भी, to be able to fulfill your degree, but that's not the only thing. We have to, kind of outshine, right?
Yeah.
That's how I imagine
Yeah.
you. And you will have your academics, you'll have to cook, you'll have to wash your clothes, you'll have to do everything by yourself, right?
Right.
तो वो बहुत easy नहीं होता है, right?
Yeah.
So I think at UCL you will have a class average age that kind of fits you. You'll have a few people matching your, age.
Mm-hmm.
Kings way you can expect everybody to come with a lot of experience, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
you might feel ki, again, but there's a positive side also that you will study with the best of the crowd. But I think right now your focus should be how you can learn the maximum, right?
Right.
And that too a little bit, not pressurizing yourself. So UCL may you can still be a little relaxed that it's going to be fine. I will meet people with my similar age level, right?
Yeah. And not be intimidated.
Yeah, not be intimidated, right?
Yeah.
Apart from this, I think location is not something that differentiates here.
Hmm.
दोनों का location is, there's
Yeah.
nothing better than that.
Right.
आई थिंक एक जो चीज है, ऑफ कोर्स किंग्स का एलुमनाई बेस बहुत स्ट्रांग है, राइट?
Okay.
UCL has a better, student culture, right? So
Okay.
जो आपके student groups हैं वो UCL में ज़्यादा हैं. Kings का alumni network is something that has been running for a long time, right?
Right.
So Kings definitely will have that advantage in a little
Mhm.
sense of getting you to a job, right?
Yeah.
Because of its strong alumni network, right?
Okay. Mhm.
Although I think the people who've been telling you are right, a lot of things depend on how you perform, how you do, right?
Yeah.
And how you make use of this opportunity, right? So
Hmm.
I think ये एक और चीज है जो differentiate करता है. Right now your focus should be to work with the maximum student groups because you're just learning, right? So it
Yeah.
should not be हमने अपने आप को train C level पे किया था, right?
Yeah.
But अब हम we have been put to a class at Z level, right?
Yeah.
And we will always feel we've just started, right?
Yeah.
At UCL you'll be at par, right? What are
Right.
your parents saying?
My father's saying UCL, like he talked to some people and he
Hmm.
said UCL is like it has a slight edge over KCL. He says like people think that UCL is better, like the people he talked to.
Hmm.
And overall he said that London is a good location
Hmm.
because the recession is gonna end
Hmm.
and like other countries are also gonna go into
Hmm.
recession, so the job market will be like filled everywhere, there will be less jobs everywhere. So it's like good to get a brand name like UCL on your resume so that it increases your chances. So I think he's team UCL, like that's why he called, he told me to tell her that I talked to some people and they said that
अच्छा.
UCL is a little better than Kings. It has a slight edge.
See, honestly, what I've been telling your father from day one is I would prefer USA, right? That's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
still stay on and I will always stay.
Right.
USC Marshall, I felt like we should have not left.
Yeah.
Honestly, we got fostered also. So US was a culture, so I would have definitely wanted to explore, but I think now I've kept it for your MBA. So
Yeah.
we'll meet again in a few years
Right.
and we'll process your MBA application. That should be in USA,
Mhm.
right? But start connecting, it's I think a more comfortable environment. I think
Yeah.
parents are more bullish about going to UK. You have relatives in UK.
Like friends, my father has friends. I personally, because I also like I liked US, but like the thing that swayed me was that I thought like in US I did get some good offers, but I thought like the potential if I could have like gotten like good score on GMAT, like the ones I was getting in my tests, like practice exams, that would have increased my chances a lot. Like I could have applied to.
I mean, US में the only college was Cornell,
Yeah.
right?
So that's why I wanted
So
like after some time, after I work more and after I get actually a good GMAT score, then I'll apply to all the Ivies and all the top schools. Like I'll be eligible at least to apply. I would not require that GMAT waiver, which
Right.
would not be a restraint. Because if I want like Cornell was a good one, but I want to apply to all of them, like MIT, Stanford, like all the Ivies. Like I want if I go to US, I want to like go all into US.
I understood, and
That's
that's
why that was my one thing. My father was like, okay, he wanted UK as well, but I wanted US. But then I realized after Cornell reject, I thought there is potential in US, which I'm gonna
that is the
restrict
only
myself.
reject, and
Yeah,
I also realized this that I think US फिर अब तभी जाएंगे या तो Harvard, Stanford,
हाँ
when you have
exactly.
those
US में
names.
proper एकदम MBA का वहाँ पे वैसे ही there's like
We'll work on it, don't worry.
exactly.
And I think when we start working on it, there'll be a better chance because we will already come with a good brand name.
Exactly.
Plus, learning is going to be immense, right? And why universities value, good schools is not just ki brand hai. It is about they know the kind of culture and the
Right.
exposure you will come from.
Yeah.
So definitely, my target has automatically shifted the moment you said this is final. I was like, now let's plan for the MBA.
Yeah.
Right. So that will be pretty soon. But मेरे हिसाब से भी आपको UCL जाना चाहिए for the same reasons that I've just mentioned. Although in the end, it's always going to be your choice.
Yeah.
Right? Some things you do from your heart also, right? So if you are, more like Kings, I want that name on my resume. बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसा differentiation नहीं है.
Yeah.
You can always go for Kings, but from a career standpoint, how we should enter the business world and a career, UCL seems to be a better choice at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Rest of course MBA क्योंकि करना है MBA के time पे we should actually go all in, as you said, MIT, Cornell, we should target these kind of universities.
Exactly.
And it will be more possible. अभी तो you are a fresher,
Right.
हमने जब अप्लाई किया उस टाइम पे जीमैट का क्लैरिटी नहीं था, राइट,
Right.
बिकॉज वी डिलेड आवर जीमैट प्लान्स, राइट. So I think that was the thing, but now you will come up with a good GMAT score at that point in time. Experience मिल जाएगा.
Right, and plus I had a 3 year degree, which
हाँ.
also restricted like a little. And
3 year
now I
degree
have a
did a lot.
master's degree, which is actually recognized, so we won't have to do that international thing, which grades my GPA or something. There was a thing
Yeah.
now. Like I
Maybe
could not.
US makes a very big factor, na? Because that is
Hmm.
why we had to leave a lot of schools. Like Penn State, we
Penn
didn't
State,
apply
exactly. They
just
said
because of
that
this
they won't
reason.
accept. John Hopkins also, they required
Yeah,
something.
and that is a very, very valid reason in USA,
Exactly.
right? But I think although we made our way around a few, right?
Yeah.
So we wrote them emails and we
Exactly.
got that. But US में हाँ मतलब it should be when you apply to these kind of schools like MIT, it should not be that you're trying to get your way around,
Exactly,
right?
that's what I thought. Like for many, we had to change the degree to entrepreneurship, or we
हाँ.
have to switch the degree to whatever they are offering us, because we had to like go like that because we didn't have proper the
We tried
credentials.
everything to
We tried
get through.
everything. We gave like them so many letters, transcript, job experience that we have the skills. We have the skills. So UC San Diego also they said like I don't have enough quant skills, so I showed them like the 12th course sheet and then
I think
exam
USC
sheet.
Marshall maybe we were mailing them with that. Do you remember you did this course फिर उनमें से हमने
Yeah,
quantitative
exactly.
subjects pick किए थे and we
Right, right,
mailed them
right.
that.
Because they had so many conditions.
Right.
So I was actually also looking at the GMAT classes to begin the GMAT classes again.
No, right now you don't have
Yeah,
to.
that's what like
Too
my
early.
father said. It's like actually do the masters first and
Exactly.
then. But I thought like I have some time in between now.
No, you have much more. I'll tell you the things that you have to do. You don't have to start your GMAT prep right now for MBA.
Because GMAT is also changing. Like this GMAT focus right now.
And the good part is जब तक आप दोबारा MBA के लिए apply करोगे, it will be like already settled.
Right.
The
Test
people who
subject.
give this for the
Right.
first time, the scores will be lower.
Exactly.
But I think right now not a good time to start your GMAT for
Right.
an MBA.
Right.
This is something you've already gotten,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
अभी वो I think prep up your pre-departure, which is shop a lot, right?
Right.
Apart from it, I'll tell you the things that you have to carry, like we were discussing, right? Pressure cooker,
right.
सब बन जाता है उसमें, right?
Mhm.
And that's the only thing which you should take from here, like students,
Rest we can all get.
हाँ, you keep your utensils and everything. It's a waste. You will get better utensils.
Hmm.
They're also more adaptive to the kind of setting they would have, right?
Right.
Students take a lot of jackets from India. The jackets from India don't work abroad, right? I've
Okay.
tried it, right? कोई फायदा नहीं है. So and you will get cheaper stuff there in
Right.
terms of getting these jackets, which will
Hmm.
actually be very warm. तो
Right.
इंडिया से jackets वगैरह ले जाना बेकार
Not
है.
worth it, right?
Yeah. Take medicines. Medicines are very expensive there. So if let's say
Hmm.
I get very, I catch a cold very quickly,
Hmm.
right? So I would keep all my medicines and
Right.
cetirizine and all of that,
Makes
right? So you should take your medicines which has been in the history. Because medicines are super expensive, right? Because आपके पास insurance है, तो the insurance
Hmm.
रख के visa में use होगा, but it covers a few things, not everything,
Right.
So that is one thing. Apart from it, you should take an umbrella. Umbrella is something that's very expensive abroad.
Umbrella is expensive.
Umbrella is very expensive. Somehow it is very
It's
expensive.
like kind of, especially in London, isn't it like
Because it rains.
essential because
Yeah,
it
it
rains
rains.
so much.
It
should
rains
be
so
like
much.
very cheap there.
But it is expensive, right? So when you compare it, it's also that
Yeah, yeah,
comparison, right? So these are few things that I tell my students. Universal adapter is a very basic thing that you
Yeah.
take, right?
Of course.
So I think Prachi will be giving you the list anyhow, right?
Mhm.
So we are on to a visa mode, right?
Right.
What did your university say about the transfer?
He said that they will be giving it by this month.
This month, which means June end.
So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go once tomorrow and like I'll try to ask and expedite the process because they gave the results for BTech. They always
Okay.
issue the BTech results first.
So that's still quicker. I was thinking July, mid to end of July.
No, no, I think by this month they should give. But I'm gonna go and ask once more because like always BTech they prioritize, so they always like BTech, BTech, BTech. They check BTech like papers fast and like but ours and like the other BA programs and like the fashion program, design program, they delay. They're like okay, आराम से जब इनका हो तब हो तो I need to go and tell them कि नहीं हमें भी चाहिए results.
Like, I think that happened with the the team also because काफी students हैं their university and that's the same thing that is happening.
Right.
Although हाँ touch में तो constantly रहो like I said
Mhm.
figure out that one person who can help you out continuously. Apart from it, अभी हमारा जो conditional offer है, next thing is to give a transcript and get the unconditional offer
Right.
letter, which अगर आपका जून end में result आता है, we will get that by mid July, right? Once we have that, we will request our CAS letter, right?
Right.
So by end of July, we will have everything in our hands, right? So
Right.
by July, end of August, we will file your visa. Your classes starting around 23rd to
Yeah.
19th September, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So time है. Good part is they're starting in
Second
September.
half of September.
Yeah. So we can always plan. अभी तो you take your cooking lessons.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Right.
Rest, I think for me, I am settled on UCL.
Okay.
Are you as well? Yeah, maybe confusion है.
I'll go through the course like once again. I'm a very indecisive person. That like
I know.
that's like
I
the
work
worst
with
quality
you.
I have, and it's not going away. Like I thought, like as I mature, I will get better, but it's just
I
getting
know.
worse.
I've worked with you for so many
It's
months.
just
I know.
getting worse, and my father especially,
Hmm.
he's so tired of it because he's the opposite. He can't sit on a decision even for 1 hour.
Hmm.
He'll be like, he'll take the information, he'll like go with this, just like go with this.
That is how
That's
I am.
it. Nothing more, not one word. And he said like UCL, when he got UCL, he's like, okay, UCL done.
Huh.
So that's why I'm fearing that he's saying UCL just because he has made up his mind and he's not even considering Kings. But so that's why I have so many. But
I
I'm
mean, he might have his own reasons, maybe because relatives or friends बहुत
Yeah.
affect करते हैं. But I think for me also, when I had to call you here
Yeah.
because I know you are indecisive, so I have to make you sit and realize ये चीजें
yeah,
हैं,
yeah, yeah.
right? Although, see, you need to take your time. Of course, it's like you will do your MBA, but obviously that's the biggest decision of your life, right? So go with what also your mind says.
Mhm.
How you can figure that out better is try connecting to a lot of people. What I'll do is I'll also connect you with my students, right?
Mhm.
If you want, I can also connect you with the students who are going this year, right? So who are in the same dilemma,
Right, right, right.
so you could actually get on a discussion, Kings UCL,
Yeah, how
Kings
did
versus
they choose?
UCL.
What are they considering?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn पे बात करो, alumni से बात करो, right?
Mhm.
Talk to the people who are currently studying in your programs, but not anywhere, but in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
given program. Stay very active on the WhatsApp groups, right? And try to ask questions, right? So this is something. It's a continuous thing. Good part is अभी हमारे पास time है. You don't have to make the decision today.
Right.
We have time until what do I say, July end to make that
Right.
call, right?
Okay.
So July end tak we can, but the point is we should not. You can utilize this time for a lot of good things, working
Right.
on your LinkedIn, working on your skills, right? If you're going for UCL, आपके कुछ subjects हैं जो बहुत नए होने वाले हैं आपके लिए, so you
Right.
can do some courses to build that up,
I
right?
actually reached out to a King's alumni of this course only. I
Hmm.
think no, he was graduating this Feb. He graduated this Feb, so just
Acha.
like 1 year senior.
Hmm.
He was not that happy with the course. He said like some professors are good, some are bad, but he said like everything it's like too much work, and he didn't explicitly said why, but he said that he's giving me his honest opinion, and he does not like it that much. He cannot comment on UCL and all, and he said like overall the employers would respect both the degrees, and like you'll get opportunities with equal opportunities
Equal
with both the degrees, but he didn't like the course because and he was coming from a extremely quantitative background, so like mathematics, statistics
See,
and
that might
economics.
also be the reason because King's ka jo corporate finance is, it's not very, very,
Mathematical.
not very mathematical and it's not very advanced. It's built for, people who come with 1-2 years of experience, 3-4 years experience, right? So you might be somebody who और experience के साथ जा रहा है, so they would be unhappy. But yes, King's corporate finance is actually not very, very famous.
Right.
But UCL, this program is super good. Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is why I think I'm also going to be on UCL.
Right. And another like a slightly different on a slightly
Hmm.
different tangent, because like the UK degrees are recognized like Europe wide as well. So should I try to learn another language so that I can apply to another country? If UK is
When
in
do you want to
recession-
apply to any other country?
No, like because like UK is in recession, and if
Huh.
I get opportunities, because like UCL Kings, they're like planned, they are known in like Europe as well, like France and stuff. So if I apply to those countries, the visa is like not I can travel to these countries very easily. It's
Right.
cheap and all, but they might require like me to know their native language.
See, I think again there are two perspectives in a sense that because of recession you might take that decision. I think you will still not take that call because वो ऐसे countries हैं जहाँ पे आपको पता है you can't build your future, right? You will have to
Yeah.
eventually go to USA or come back to UK once it's a fine. I think with the UK recession, the thing is currently you're starting. So by the time you graduate, things are going to be better, right?
Right.
Because the recession will affect people who are currently working there on different visa categories,
Right,
right?
right.
So they'll be sent back. तो
Hmm.
फायदा ये है कि जब तक आप ग्रेजुएट हो गए तब तक things should
Jobs
be
will
better,
open.
jobs will be open because
Right.
these people will be out, right?
Hmm.
Although the second perspective is you can, I think you should always learn. So there's no reason to stop. And as you mentioned,
Right.
अभी GMAT से better actually है learn a new language. You
Hmm.
can learn French, right? I think.
French or Spanish, like the
हाँ, I
two
mean Spanish
major.
is easier to learn. French is a little difficult, right?
Spanish would
French,
work in like the countries like Latin America and Spain.
but I think French would have a better official designation if you know that language.
Hmm.
More advantages, right?
Right.
So I think French is what I would
French.
say, right?
Hmm.
वो सीख सकते हो
Hmm.
besides the cooking part. You're
Yeah,
learning
the
from
first
your
like
mom.
I need to live there, I need to survive. So the
हाँ.
survival skills are
See, since I know you, what I'm going to tell you is don't think that much also, students prepare and you should also prepare yourself, but don't get so worried because it's going to be the first time of some of the things, cooking yourself,
right.
going out and all of that. You might
Hmm.
take up a part-time job. तो वो experience होगा पहले, you might even fear some things, right? You might get worried, anxious,
Yeah.
but just go with the flow because if you worry too much, you will restrain yourself, and I don't want you to restrain yourself, right? So
Right.
just go and मतलब यहाँ पे I think that's what this experience is about, right? So you were talking about getting through for the past 1 year. Now you've gotten through, so our kind of reasons which are causing anxiety have changed a lot.
Right, right, right.
तो वो हमेशा रहता ही है, right?
Yeah.
कुछ ना कुछ लगा रहता है, but
Mhm.
I think take a call,
Right.
start putting in that effort to build your profile more. It is just a milestone in your life.
Right.
To achieve so many big things.
Yeah.
So just keep on going, right? And language सीखो या कोई course करो, finance से related कोई course कर सकते हो आप. Management के जो आपके subjects अगर आप UCL जाते हो तो you can see the kind of subjects that are there. Start reading
Right.
about them, right? So start building up your profile, and when you study with these bright minds, you should be the person that stands out. My students should be the best one out of them because I know your grades will never be a problem, but I also want you to be very active, very proactive.
Right.
The opportunity, let's grab it, right? So
Right.
there should be nothing that stops you. Okay. So
And like the post-study work visa thing, like right now it's still 2 years, right? It's some like it's going back to 6 months. There was like
there is
so
definitely.
when would that like apply? Would
I
that
don't think there's definitely अभी कोई ऐसा proper month या year नहीं आया, but it would be done and things would change in UK because a lot of schools are the low rank schools जहाँ पे बहुत students जाते हैं, right? But now to limit that, limitations will always be put on the students who are going to low rank schools, right? So
that will help us.
yeah, so students would understand the importance of going to top rank schools, right? Better rank schools at least. तो वो आपको affect नहीं करेगा, right? Also, I think by the time, because it's just 1 year course, it will take a lot of implementation, execution by the time
Right.
it is actually put to
Implemented.
place.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you will already be out.
And we get 2 years.
You get
And
2
like
years.
we have to apply again for the second
नहीं
year.
तो आप जाते हो अभी आपको स्टूडेंट परमिट भी मिलता है.
Hmm.
Once you go there and your course is ending, then you need to reach out to your immigration office. Some universities also help you in their international office, and you can get it changed to a work permit for 2 years.
And for 2 years, I'll have to have a job to get this permit.
नहीं 2 साल तो आपको मिल ही रहा है कोर्स के बाद. That is the time
So
to
we can
stay,
stay
but
and find the job.
हाँ, that is the time that is actually given to find a job.
Basically, 2 years people can stay without anything.
But nobody
Like
would.
it's not ideal, but
It's
like
not ideal, but
yeah, allowed.
also if you are without a job for a lot of while, right? All of that is maintained. That's why your CAS ID is very important. Right?
Okay.
तो CAS से सब maintain होता है कि आप क्या earn कर रहे हो, कितना tax pay कर रहे हो, right? So if they feel that you have not been earning at all, right? You've not been, there are dues, they are ideally in that state to deport, right?
Right.
So yes, हाँ maintain करना है, but I think job is something that you can get in up to 3 months. Ideally, graduates take up to maximum 3 months to get a job. So ऐसा नहीं है next day you will get a job. It will take up to 3 months, and it's a continuous hunt. Even it's not easy for anybody, right?
Right.
Of course, these universities have job fairs and everything, which makes it easier. But फिर भी आपको मेहनत बहुत करना पड़ेगा. You have to be the a very proactive person, right? You have to take every opportunity that comes in front.
Get a job that will actually sponsor a work visa. That's difficult.
Right.
And getting a job.
But I think what you can do is you can always have a plan B in terms of you want to do an MBA, right? तो जॉब देखो शुरू में आप इंटर्नशिप आपके प्रोग्राम में डिसर्टेशन है उसके बाद यू गेट सम अपॉर्चुनिटीज राइट so you take that up, right? But side by side also keep on having a plan B. Apply to some universities that by chance you don't get a job, God forbid, in the worst case, then you can actually continue your study. वो भी कर सकते हो,
Okay.
ठीक है?
Yeah.
So I think I am settled on UCL. But the
Yeah,
rest,
yeah, yeah.
take the
Father
call.
is also. So mostly, yeah.
I think he'll be so happy that our thoughts are matching because I
Exactly.
was like US, he was like the UK.
Yeah, always, all the time. He
Um,
kind of like to do that. He wants to like his thought is the right and the last.
that's why he'll be so happy to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
He especially called me to like tell me, hello, I talked to people and they said UCL is the better one. So yeah, I tell her, calm down.
serious, I think now he should be the
Yeah,
happiest.
yeah, yeah. Now I'm the only one stressed.
You don't need to be stressed because I know for a fact you will think about it endlessly.
Yeah.
So I think you should take a call.
Hmm.
What you can do is to actually visit the course once.
Yeah.
एक बार फिर से देख लो and क्या करते हैं अभी take 2-3 days. Monday फिर से connect करते हैं. Let's have a final vote. Right?
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'll talk to your father also.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to him once too. He'll be happy.
I'll speak with him definitely.